Welcome to Kanerika's podcast, The Digital Shift.
It is great to be here.
There is a really fascinating illusion in the technology world right now.
Oh, absolutely.
You secure access to a highly advanced foundational model, you run a few successful prompts, and suddenly, well, you feel like you fundamentally transformed your business operations.
It's that instant gratification. It feels so simple.
Right, it feels immediate. But the reality is that we're witnessing a massive transition in enterprise AI right now. We are moving away from the novelty of simply acquiring model access.
Which is the easy part, really.
Exactly. And we're slamming headfirst into the grueling, highly complex reality of production deployment.
Yeah, that is where the real work begins.
So today, our mission for this deep dive is to explore this exact shift for you. We're going to specifically analyze Anthropic's new $100 million investment in the Claude Partner Network.
Which is a huge market signal.
It really is. We are going to look at why deploying AI is proving to be so incredibly difficult for organizations today, how the consulting market is being rapidly restructured to solve it, and what you, as an enterprise leader, need to understand before you authorize your next major AI initiative.
It's a vital conversation to have right now. I mean, the market has completely moved past the honeymoon phase of artificial intelligence.
We are definitely out of the honeymoon phase.
We really are. We're now deep into the operational phase, which is, far less glamorous, but infinitely more consequential for your business.
Much higher stakes.
Right. The focus is no longer on what a model can theoretically do in a pristine, perfectly controlled laboratory environment.
Because no enterprise looks like a laboratory.
Exactly. The focus is entirely on how you take that model and integrate it into a chaotic, legacy-burdened enterprise architecture. And you have to do that without breaking your compliance frameworks or hallucinating critical business data.
And to really understand why Anthropic is pouring $100 million into a partner network to try and solve this, we really have to look at the sheer scale of the demand out there.
The numbers are staggering.
They really are almost difficult to comprehend. In just the first 3 months of the Claude Partner Network launching, over 40,000 firms applied.
40,000. That is just incredible.
It is an industrial-scale mobilization. Look at the big players. Accenture is currently training 30,000 professionals specifically on Claude.
Wow.
And Deloitte is rolling it out to 470,000 people across its global network.
So when organizations of that massive magnitude commit resources at that scale, it tells you something important. It tells you that the implementation layer is where the real battle is being fought right now.
Exactly. But here is the statistic that completely blew my mind while prepping for this deep dive. The RAND Corporation conducted a comprehensive study recently, and they found that more than 80% of enterprise AI projects fail.
That's right, 80%.
Wait, that is twice the failure rate of standard IT projects.
Yeah, it is a brutal reality check for a lot of executives.
Okay, let's unpack this for a second because I think an analogy helps here. Buying API access to Claude, it's like buying a Formula One engine.
Oh, I like that.
Right. It is this incredibly powerful piece of technology, but dropping that engine into an old, rusty commuter car without upgrading the transmission or the brakes, that is exactly what enterprises are doing when they completely ignore their data infrastructure.
The car just falls apart the second you hit the gas.
Exactly. You have this incredibly powerful reasoning engine, but it's entirely bottlenecked by weak data foundations, non-existent security controls, and just really fragile pipeline architectures.
What's fascinating here is that the root cause of that staggering 80% failure rate is almost never the model's capability itself.
It's not Claude's fault, basically.
Right. When an AI project stalls, it's rarely because the model wasn't smart enough to process the prompt. The failure invariably stems from the massive gap between a shiny proof of concept and a governed production-grade system.
Because a proof of concept is easy.
Right. It is so easy. You isolate a clean data set, you write a custom Python script, and you generate this brilliant output for a board presentation.
Everyone claps, they authorize the budget.
Exactly. But a production-grade system, that requires data pipeline architecture that can actually support continuous high-volume workloads, every single second of the day,
It has to run reliably.
and it requires strict access governance.
Yeah.
So, the AI doesn't inadvertently summarize highly confidential HR files for a new entry-level employee.
Oh, wow, yeah, which would be a complete disaster.
A total disaster. You also need rigorous compliance reviews, deep integration with decades-old legacy systems, and real organizational change management.
And every single one of those obstacles sits firmly on the implementation side of the equation.
Exactly. So Anthropic's $100 million investment is essentially a formal diagnosis of this market reality. They know their model works. What they need is a systematic way to identify and elevate the engineering firms that can actually build the car around the engine, using your analogy.
Okay, so if Anthropic knows these messy legacy pipelines are killing 80% of deployments, how are they actually finding the mechanics who can fix it? I mean, you can't just hand out partnerships to 40,000 eager applicants based on enthusiasm alone.
No, you definitely cannot.
Yeah.
And that is why the network is fundamentally split into two distinct branches to handle this volume.
Okay, how does that work?
First, you have the Anthropic Partner Academy. This handles all the role-based training and the actual certifications for individual practitioners.
So that's for the individuals.
Right. And then you have the services track. This is the formal, tiered system for the consulting firms themselves, and it is evaluated strictly twice a year on January 1st and July 1st.
And the progression through those tiers is pretty steep, isn't it?
It is very steep. It starts at the registered tier, which is free entry, and basically just allows teams to access the training materials. But then you really have to prove yourself.
Right, because everyone can register.
Exactly. The next level up is the select tier, which requires 10 certified staff members and 2 joint customers with Claude actively deployed in production.
Okay, so you need real clients using it.
Yeah. And then the preferred tier jumps significantly to 100 certified staff and 15 deployed customers.
That is quite a leap.
It is. And finally, you have the global premier tier, which is reserved for massive scale. That requires 1,000 certified individuals and over 100 deployments spanning at least 3 global regions.
Wow, that is a massive escalation in requirements.
It really is. They are filtering out the noise.
And to get those baseline certifications in the first place, individuals have to pass exams like the Claude Certified Architect Foundation.
Yes, the CCAF.
Right. It's a 120-minute, $99 technical exam proctored by Pearson VUE. But here's where it gets really interesting for me, and I want to push back a little bit here.
Okay, go for it.
Doesn't passing a multiple-choice proctored exam just mean a consultant is, well, exceptionally good at memorizing documentation? I mean, how does a standardized test actually help an enterprise facing a highly customized, messy deployment?
That's a great pushback, and it's precisely the right distinction for you to make. Certifications validate individual technical knowledge, sure, but they do not validate organizational delivery capability.
Right, knowing the manual isn't building the machine.
Exactly. And Anthropic is very aware of this. An individual passing the architect exam proves they understand things like the model context protocol.
Which is basically the set of rules for how the AI actually fetches and connects to outside information during a live conversation, right?
Correct. It proves they know how to structure prompts, and they understand the theoretical constraints of the API. It is a necessary floor. You absolutely want the people touching your systems to know the basics.
Right, you definitely want them to know how the tools work.
Exactly. However, the actual weight of the Claude Partner Network and the immense commercial benefits that come with it, like direct deal referrals from Anthropic, co-marketing funds, and getting embedded applied AI engineers from Anthropic to help you, those only unlock when a firm proves they have deployed active joint customers in production.
So the tier system is what really matters.
Yes, the tier system is designed to measure the organizational track record. A multiple-choice test cannot prove that a consulting firm knows how to navigate, say, complex data sovereignty laws in the European Union while deploying a generative model.
No, definitely not.
Only past performance can prove that. That is why moving from registered to select, or select to preferred, is anchored so heavily on public customer stories and active production workloads.
So the exam proves you read the manual, but the tier status proves you actually successfully built the machine under real-world pressure.
That is a perfect way to summarize it.
We see this friction every single day in our own trenches at Kanerika. When our teams sit down with an enterprise client, we are fiercely protective of that distinction between a demo and a deployment.
It is the most important distinction you can make right now.
Absolutely. So what does this all mean for us? When we at Kanerika sit down with a client, we aren't just bolting an AI model onto a broken system. As an AI-first data and automation consulting firm, we have over 300 professionals and more than 100 enterprise clients.
And an amazing retention rate.
Right, we maintain a 98% client retention rate, and that metric exists largely because we absolutely refuse to participate in the vanity metrics of AI.
Which is so common in the industry right now.
It really is. Our core philosophy is uncompromising. Enterprise AI must start at the data layer. We see so many organizations out there trying to bolt an advanced AI model onto a broken, fragmented system, and it is just a recipe for disaster. AI simply fails on poorly governed, siloed data.
It is the old garbage in, garbage out principle, just operating at a terrifying new speed.
Exactly. That's why at Kanerika, we leverage our deep partnerships and hands-on experience with foundational data platforms like Microsoft Fabric, Snowflake, and Databricks.
You have to get the foundation right first.
You have to. Before we even discuss prompt engineering, we are looking at data lineage, meaning, knowing exactly where a piece of data was born, how it was altered, and where it lives right now.
Which is critical for auditing.
Completely. We're looking at metadata quality and pipeline reliability. And this philosophy extends directly into our Agentic AI portfolio. We build autonomous agents that do real measurable work.
Let's talk about some of those agents because they are fascinating.
Yeah, take Carl, for example. That's our data insights agent that analyzes complex data sets to deliver rapid business intelligence. Or Alan, our legal summarizer that processes and condenses massive, highly complex legal documents.
Those are heavy workloads.
They are. We also have specialized agents like Susan for automated PII redaction, which is the automatic blacking out of personally identifiable information, like social security numbers, before the AI even reads the main text in Mike for quantitative proofreading. These aren't just toys, they are digital workforces.
And our methodology at Kanerika reflects the exact rigors that the highest tiers of the Claude Partner Network demand. When we deploy solutions like Carl or Alan, our methodology mandates production-grade architecture from day one.
We don't cut corners for a demo.
We don't build parallel shadow IT infrastructure just to get a quick win for a presentation. We integrate directly into the client's existing technology stack. We mandate documented governance across model outputs and data access.
Because the risks are too high otherwise.
Think about it this way. If you are deploying an AI agent to read sensitive legal contracts, you absolutely cannot have any ambiguity regarding where that data resides or who has permission to view the summarized output.
Right, the legal department would shut that down immediately.
Instantly. Our deep expertise in data modernization is what allows the AI layer to function reliably in the first place. Whether we're migrating a client to a unified lakehouse on Databricks, which is basically a central repository that gives you the vast scale of a massive data lake, but with the strict organization of a traditional database, or we are consolidating their analytics on Microsoft Fabric, we ensure the data is clean, structured, and strictly governed before the model ever touches it.
And that is exactly how you avoid becoming part of that 80% failure statistic we talked about earlier.
Precisely.
Okay, so if the baseline is this broken across the industry and the implementation is genuinely this hard, put yourself in the shoes of an enterprise leader listening to this right now.
It is a tough spot to be in.
It is. You are looking to hire an implementation partner, and the market is currently flooded with firms claiming AI expertise. A partner badge, whether it says select or preferred, will certainly get a firm on your shortlist because it proves they have at least met Anthropic's quantitative requirements.
Right, it gets them in the door.
But you have to look beyond the badge. You must demand to see at least 3 production deployments from the past 18 months. You need to ask what their technical architecture looked like and, most importantly, what they would do differently if they had to do it all over again.
That is always the most revealing question.
It really is. You have to evaluate their data platform integration depth. Do they actually understand data lineage and pipelines? Can they handle rigorous governance requirements like data residency and audit logging?
All the unglamorous back-end work.
Exactly. But let me ask you this pointed question. If I am an enterprise leader and a consultant slides a glossy, beautiful brochure across my desk with a preferred Anthropic badge right on the front, I am probably going to trust them. How do I actually poke holes in that? What is the immediate red flag or warning sign that they might be bluffing about their enterprise capabilities?
This raises an important question, and it is one every buyer needs to ask themselves. The immediate red flag is a firm that speaks endlessly about model capabilities, advanced prompt engineering, and token limits, but get suddenly quiet or very vague when you ask them about data platforms.
Oh, that is a great tell.
It's the biggest tell. If a firm claims AI expertise but lacks deep hands-on delivery experience in modern data platforms like Microsoft Fabric, Databricks, or Snowflake, they're going to deliver an underperforming, unscalable solution. Period.
There's just no way around it.
No. If they cannot explain to you how they manage data ownership, how they handle stale data in an automated pipeline, or how they enforce strict access controls on the model's output, they are building you a prototype, not a production system.
Like I said before, it is all about the plumbing.
Precisely. It is all plumbing. Furthermore, if they have no prior work in regulated industries and cannot provide a documented approach for handling compliance on autologging, which is essentially keeping a secure, unalterable record of every single decision the AI makes, that is a glaring warning sign.
Because you can't just bolt that on later.
No, you cannot retrofit security and governance into an AI system after it has already been deployed. It must be architected into the very foundation. The badge proves they have a relationship with the AI provider, sure, but their answers about data infrastructure prove whether they can actually protect your business.
That is incredibly well said. To really drive that point home for everyone listening, let's look at a concrete statistical example of what a successful mature deployment actually achieves.
Let's get into the real-world impact.
Right. We aren't just talking about theory here. Let's examine our recent deployment of a compliance agent for a global expert network. For context, an expert network is an organization that connects over 1 million subject matter experts with enterprise decision makers for specialized consulting.
A very data-heavy operation.
Incredibly data-heavy. Before this deployment, their compliance analysts were absolutely drowning in manual screening. Every single time an expert was proposed for a consultation, analysts had to manually scour news sites, social media platforms, and LinkedIn using multiple keyword searches to ensure the person didn't have a problematic background.
A massively tedious process.
Completely tedious. And then they had to take those findings and cross-reference them against a massive, complex compliance rulebook entirely by hand.
Which is just prone to human error.
Exactly. As you can imagine, this process was entirely unscalable. It caused huge ticket backlogs, it led to severe delays in event scheduling, and stakeholder frustration was peaking. There was also a massive operational risk of missing a critical finding simply because the analysts were exhausted and overwhelmed by the sheer volume of information.
And the environment you are describing right there is exactly where AI delivers its most profound return on investment, provided it is deployed correctly.
Keywords, deployed correctly.
Right. The solution we implemented was an AI compliance agent that automated this entire expert profiling process. This agent was engineered to connect securely to both internal proprietary databases and open-source intelligence sources out on the web.
So it is pulling from everywhere.
Yes. It automatically gathered, synthesized, and summarized negative news findings across a vast array of structured and unstructured data. It then output highly structured compliance reports, complete with accurate citations, directly mapped against the organization's specific disqualification criteria.
And the statistics from this deployment are just staggering. By implementing this governed AI agent, the organization achieved a 60% reduction in negative news screening time.
60% is huge.
It is massive. The entire vetting process, from initial submission to final clearance, became 3 times faster. They saw a 70% decrease in their ticket backlogs and ultimately a 40% reduction in event delays across the entire organization.
Those are game-changing metrics.
It's incredible. It is not just about saving a few hours of typing. It is about fundamentally changing what compliance analysts do on a daily basis. We moved them away from being manual data gatherers and elevated them into high-level decision makers. They're reviewing comprehensive dossiers now instead of running basic Google searches.
That operational shift is the ultimate goal, and I really want to anchor this back to the core theme of our discussion today. The results you just listed, the 60% time reduction, the eliminated backlogs, that is the precise distance between a simple conversational demo and a governed integrated production deployment.
It is a totally different ballgame.
It is. Generating a summary of a single news article in a web interface is a demo. Engineering an autonomous agent that securely queries internal databases, cross-references live intelligence, applies strict compliance rules, and outputs a formatted, auditable report at scale. That is enterprise production.
And it takes serious engineering to get there.
It requires secure data pipelines, rock-solid infrastructure, and an implementation partner who genuinely understands how to bridge the gap between artificial intelligence and legacy enterprise operations.
So to summarize our journey today, the massive shift happening right now is the realization that AI's true value isn't found in simply purchasing API access to models like Claude.
The model is just the starting line.
Exactly. The real value and the real challenge lies entirely in architecture, integration, and governance. Anthropic's $100 million investment in the Claude Partner Network is a huge testament to how crucial implementation specialists have actually become.
They recognize the bottleneck.
They do. Whether it is ensuring your data foundation on Databricks or Snowflake is solid, or navigating the strict compliance requirements of your industry, the deployment layer is everything. We at Kanerika live and breathe this transition every single day. We build the architecture, we enforce the governance, and we ensure that our clients achieve real operational velocity, rather than becoming just another statistic in that 80% failure rate.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it leaves us with a critical reality to consider for the future. Over the next few years, foundational models like Claude are going to continue to commoditize.
They're getting cheaper and smarter every month.
Right. The sheer intelligence and reasoning capabilities of these models will become equally available to everyone, from your closest competitors to disruptive new startups. When the intelligence itself is democratized, access to the model is no longer an advantage.
That is a scary thought for a lot of companies.
It should be. This implies that your proprietary data, its cleanliness, its governance, and its architectural agility will soon be your only true moat. But that raises a fascinating, slightly unsettling question.
What's that?
Well, if intelligence becomes a cheap commodity and proprietary data is a company's only enduring advantage, what happens when organizations start hoarding their data? Are we moving toward an era where enterprise data is guarded more fiercely than physical gold, fundamentally altering how companies interact and share knowledge?
Wow, what a powerful thought to end on. If everyone has the same genius AI, the only thing that separates you is what you're feeding it. And if your data is a mess, the smartest AI in the world simply cannot save you. Thank you for tuning in to The Digital Shift. We highly encourage you to take a hard look at your own data foundations this week and really ask yourself if your infrastructure is truly ready for the intelligence you are trying to give it.